Hi friends, I welcome you all in this exciting training session being conducted by TNV Academy. Today in this session we will discuss about clause 5.2 of ISO 45001-2018 which talks about occupational health and safety policy. So let's get going and start our discussion. Let me explain you that what we will be covering in this session. In this session, we will discuss about clause 5.2 of ISO 45001-2018, which talks about occupational health and safety policy that an organization should develop and maintain as a requirement of the standard, and also for the smooth adoptability and implementation of the standard. Now, let us understand about the internal references taken by clause 5.2. As far as clause 5.2 of ISO 45001-2018 is concerned, then for understanding its requirements, you should be aware about what is said in clause 8.1.2 of ISO 45001-2018. Also, it takes reference from Annex A, which is defined within the standard. Annex A defines the list of terms and their meaning used within the standard under several clauses so that there is no misinterpretation of any of the term. Now, let me tell you what are the takeaway of this session. At the end of this chapter, you will be able to understand what is occupational health and safety policy, what are the essentials that should be included within the policy, how the policy should be documented, how it should be communicated within the organization and outside the organization. So, let's start our discussion with a brief understanding of policy. A policy is a system of guidelines to guide decisions and achieve intended outcomes. A policy is a statement of intent and is implemented as a procedure or protocol. Policies are generally adopted by a governance body within an organization. Policies can assist in both subjective and objective decision making. If we talk about clause 5.2 of ISO 45001-2018, then the occupational health and safety policy is a set of principles stated as commitments in which top management outlines the long-term direction of the organization to support and continually improve its occupational health and safety performance. The occupational health and safety policy provides an overall sense of direction as well as a framework for the organization to set its objectives and take actions to achieve the intended outcomes of the occupational health and safety management system. Let us now understand the requirements of clause 5.2 in detail. The clause 5.2 of ISO 45001-2018 states that top management shall establish, implement, and maintain an occupational health and safety policy that point 1. Includes a commitment to provide safe and healthy working conditions for the prevention of work-related injury and ill health and is appropriate to the purpose, size, and context of the organization and to the specific nature of its occupational health and safety risks and occupational health and safety opportunities. Point 2. Provides a framework for setting the occupational health and safety objectives. Point 3. Includes a commitment to fulfill legal requirements and other requirements. Point 4. Includes a commitment to eliminate hazards and reduce occupational health and safety risks. See 8.1.2. Point 5. Includes a commitment to continual improvement of the occupational health and safety management system. Point 6. Includes a commitment to consultation and participation of workers and where they exist, workers' representatives. The occupational health and safety policy shall be available as documented information, be communicated within the organization, be available to interested parties as appropriate, be relevant and appropriate. The clause 5.2 of ISO 45001-2018 simply tells an organization that what are its commitments which should reflect in occupational health and safety policy towards fulfilling the requirements of the standard. By fulfilling these requirements, the organization ensures that it has kept a check on the health and safety of its working environment and components. These commitments are then reflected in the processes an organization establishes to ensure a robust, credible, and reliable occupational health and safety management system, including assessing the specific requirements in this document. In developing its occupational health and safety policy, an organization should consider its consistency and coordination with other policies. An occupational health and safety policy is a statement of intent or mission statement which sets out the framework to manage the occupational health and safety management system. The occupational health and safety policy is approved by senior leadership and will drive the controls that are in place and the actions that are carried out to improve it. The standard specifically requires that the occupational health and safety policy should include commitments to provide a framework for setting objectives, provide safe and healthy working conditions for the prevention of work-related injury or ill health, eliminate hazards and reduce occupational health and safety risks, continual improvement of the occupational health and safety system, consultation and participation of workers and where they exist, worker representatives, fulfillment of legal and other requirements. The policy should take account of the current occupational health and safety circumstances of the organization and what the organization wants to achieve, broader business objectives, opportunities for improving the health and safety of workers. The occupational health and safety policy should be reviewed periodically to ensure that it remains relevant and appropriate to the organization. It is important to share the organization's commitments with its workers, contractors, and others who work on behalf of the organization so that they understand top management's expectations and can perform their work in a manner that contributes to meeting these expectations. Once the occupational health and safety policy has been approved, it must be communicated to stakeholders, including workers. The policy must be available to interested parties, which include customers and external providers on request. Making the health and safety policy publicly available or available on request provides assurance to interested parties that the organization is doing its part to achieve positive occupational health and safety outcomes. In addition, periodically the occupational health and safety policy must be reviewed by senior leadership to ensure it remains applicable to the context of your organization. Friends, I hope that you have understood the requirements of clause 5.2. Let's move on and discuss the other important components of this session. So now, we will learn about the mandatory documents that an organization has to maintain while meeting the requirements of clause 5.2. As far as clause 5.2 of ISO 45001-2018 is concerned, it demands an organization that it should keep its policy as a documented information, which is readily available to everyone. Now, let us understand how can we practice writing non-conformity for clause 5.2 of ISO 45001-2018 through a sample AFAR report 2. And last, but not the least, let us understand the common mistakes which auditors do while performing audit under the Clause 5 and Subclause 5.2 of ISO 45001:2018. Mistake number 1. Auditor asks irrelevant questions for the organization which does not relate with the organization to be audited. Mistake number 2. Sometimes auditors start thinking for the option, while auditor need to understand the client process and to decide if the client can achieve the result of the MSS through their own process. Mistake number 3. Auditors start consulting activities. Mistake number 4. Auditors start expecting document and records in clause where this may not be mandatory requirement. Mistake number 5. Auditors start asking for documents that are not relevant to the requirements of the clause or standard. For example, GST registration, FSSAI registration, etc. Dear friends, we have now come to the conclusion of this training session. See you soon with an exciting new topic. Till then, goodbye.